We are going to start this class today. The topic we are covering is storyline. Storyline is just like a trend, bullish trend, bearish trend. In Malaysian Msnr, we call it storyline. And let's go into the chart and see how a storyline begins and how a storyline ends. Now, for us to have a bullish storyline, remember, everything we learned, both the apex, the support, the resistance, everything is called key level. Your apex, your support, your resistance, your QM, your OCL, all of them are called key levels. They are all called key levels. So now we have something like this. This is a key level. You say this line here is a key level. We're going to go into the chart later. This is a key level for us to know if the market is in a bullish storyline or bearish storyline. If this is a key level here, I'll say this is key level on the same way we are going to do this on daily. We can do the same thing on weekly. We can do the same thing with monthly. So if this is a key level, I'll start with a daily key level. We have a daily key level and we have a candle. We have this candle. What we need for us to get a storyline is this. We need something like, look at this, X rejects X, and Y breakout. This is it here. This is the formula we are going to use. X reject X, then Y breakout. For the X there, the X there stands for, or we can use this X. This X here can be 1 month, okay, this X can be monthly time frame, weekly time frame, and daily time frame. That's for the X. The X there is just a variable, is a variable representing this MWD. Then for the, that's it, X reject X, the same thing. The X there is the MW and D, which stands for monthly, weekly, and daily. Then the Y there means the Y, for the Y we can have weekly, daily, and 4-hour. That's for the Y. Now the X there stands for the higher time frame, while the Y stands for a lower time frame. That's why I said X reject X and Y breakout. So how are we going to get that? We're going to call this a key level. It can be any kind of key level. This is a key level, and that key level can be SBR, can be RBS, can be OCL, can be support, can be resistance, and which other key level again? That's all right. It can be QM. It can be QM. Now, these are the key levels which we have. So this line can be, this key level can be any of these. You see how I'm taking my time to detail it out, because we've now entered the area where we are approaching the point where we'll be picking trades. So now we need to get this right. So this is at the key level. What we expect on this key level is one, what do we expect? Number one, rejection. To get a storyline, there must be a rejection. Number one, rejection. Rejection means the candle wicks. Remember, this is a candle wick. This single is a candle wick. The candle wicks through or wicks below or above a key level. Remember, the body of the candle must not close below the rejection you're about to draw. It must be above. Only the wick or the shadow must break the rejection. So this is a rejection here. The body did not close below this key level. Rather, the wick of the or the shadow was the one that wicked through it. Now we have this rejection on a daily time frame. This is we have this rejection on a daily time frame. Now, after this, what do we expect on 4 hour, which is a lower time frame? We expect a breakout. And what kind of breakout do we expect? We expect this kind of breakout. This is the kind of breakout we expect. This is the breakout we expect. Breakout, the market must break above. This is the breakout we expect. Remember, this high here that will cause the breakout must be formed. It must, is a must. It must be formed before the candle did this rejection. The breakout must be formed. This high, which the market is going to use as a breakout, must be formed. It must, remember, it must be formed before this market did this rejection. It is a must. It must be what? It must be formed before this. Then after the rejection, this is daily rejection. Then we expect 4 hour to break out. When 4 hour breaks out, we've gotten our bullish storyline. Now, if you're doing this on a month, on a weekly, then what do we expect? Weekly reject weekly. The key levels must be on weekly. The candle that is rejecting must be on a weekly candle. Then the breakout must happen on daily time frame. On daily time frame. Let me put it here. So you see, I'm not trying to rush the class. For daily, say daily rejects daily. Daily 4 hour breakouts. Daily reject daily 4 hour breakout. Then if we want to get a storyline for weekly, we say what? Weekly rejects weekly. Daily breakout. They want to get a storyline for monthly. What do we do? The same thing. Monthly reject monthly. Weekly breakouts. This is what we need. This is the formula we use to get our storyline. For daily rejects daily, 4 hour breakouts. For weekly rejects weekly, 1 day breakout. For monthly rejects monthly, weekly breakout. Now, if this is how a storyline begins, how does a storyline end? A storyline ends the same way it begins. Now, we'll go to, this is how we get a bullish storyline. To get a bearish storyline, the same thing. This is a key level here, which represents, the key level can be any of the key level support or resistance that we planned. Up here, we now get a candle approaching, any color of candle, it doesn't matter. The color of the candle that did the rejection doesn't matter. So what do we expect? The market rejects the key level. After the rejection, we are expecting a breakout. And also note that this level where the market is doing the breakout, the low that did the breakout must be formed. Is a must. It must be formed before the market does the rejection. It must be formed before the market does rejection, because sometimes you'll be seeing something like this. After rejection, I'll say this is the rejection. After rejection, you now see a candle forming something like this. This is not a breakout because this thing was formed after the rejection. So your high that caused the breakout or your low that forms the breakout must be formed before the rejection. So now we are done with this. Let's go into the chart so we see it more. Let's look for a rejection. Let's start with daily. Let's start with daily. To know when a storyline begins, look at this. We had this place. We have this RBS here. You see that rejection? This is what we call rejection. This is the RBS. This is the RBS, top of the RBS. You see that? You see the RBS. Then this candle came, rejected. Now, this is daily. We have to go to 4 hour and check if there was a high before this. We're going to check if there was a high before this, and we are looking for a breakout. This is the rejection now. This is the rejection now. Market has rejected. Let's go to a lower time frame, which is going to be 4 hour, and check if we have anywhere that will act as a breakout. Yes, we have a breakout that needs to happen. Where is the area that will cause the breakout? Is this point. If you're confused on where you should mark your breakout, that's where your line chart comes in again. This is a resistance here. When the market breaks above it, that means there's a breakout. And watch carefully, this resistance was formed before this market did the rejection. If I go to my line chart, you see this is what? This is the resistance that will be broken. You see that? So when the market breaks here, that means we are now in the bullish storyline. Now, the breakout now occurred. That means we are now in a bullish market. What you should be looking for is for buying. Now, we are not going to look on how we can buy. We are focusing on storyline. Okay, the same thing. We had a rejection. The rejection was supposed to be here. Sorry, I drew the other one on 4 hour. This was a rejection on daily here. Daily OC rejection. Let's go to 4 hour and look for a breakout. Now, if we are expecting a breakout, the closest resistance is this one, because if I go to my line chart, you see that we have this one. Two opposite candles causes resistance and support. Okay, here we have this one here. We have this one here, which is there's a resistance here. This is the white, this is the black candle, bullish and bearish candle. I'm going to draw it above here. This is a place here, because even when I come to my line chart, this area is a resistance. Now, if we extend the time, that's a breakout. Now we are now in a bullish storyline. What you should be looking for is buys. Now let's try to look for a bearish storyline. We've seen this one. We've seen this one. Okay, there was no rejection. And again, was there rejection here? No, we didn't have. Okay, there was another rejection. Was there a rejection? Yes, there was a rejection. You see, the market rejected this resistance. This was a rejection. Doesn't matter how far your rejection key level is. Okay, so this is rejection here. This is a rejection here. And after the rejection, what do we expect? A breakout from a lower time frame. So this is a rejection. Only when you've gotten a breakout, that's when your storyline is valid. And also note, this is the rejection line. This resistance was formed before the rejection. So this resistance, you see it, we extend, it broke. Now the market is now bullish. This was the rejection, this was the breakout. So let's go and look for a bearish storyline, because the rest, all of them we've been doing is bullish. They are all bullish storyline. Okay, let's use this one. Let's use this one. Let's use this one. If you want to look at it, we had a resistance here. You see this resistance, extend it to this place. The market did a rejection here. Remember, the key level where the market is getting the rejection from doesn't really matter as long as the key level is fresh. You're going to learn fresh and unfresh either in the end of this class or in the next class. So this is it here. We come down here, do the rejection. Let's see if there was a breakout on a lower time frame, which is going to be 4 hour. We'll go to 4 hour. We want to look at it. You see that before this rejection, this support was formed. But if you're confused and you're not sure if this for support is valid or not, also if you look below, there's also another support here that was formed before the market did the rejection. And if you extend more further, after the rejection, there was a breakout. Immediately this breakout occurs, this means that the market is now no matter how small the breakout is, this means that the market is now bearish. And you all know why I took this line to this black instead of here, because we draw our key levels on the close of every candle, not on the open close. So this black has this close. Now I'll be talking like those that are into the advanced for long. I'm not talking as if you're a beginner anymore. Even the people that just joined, I know you might have watched the video. So let's look for another one before we talk about fresh and unfresh. Now look at this one again. The market was bullish going up. We had a rejection here. This was a rejection on a resistance. No matter how small the rejection is, they are all valid by extent. Let's see if we had a valid rejection. This was a rejection. Daily reject daily. Daily reject daily. I forgot to be saying daily reject daily. This daily reject daily. And we had, let's see if there was a breakout. I'm going to cut here off. We'll be doing a lot of back testing together. So that was the rejection. And where is the breakout going to occur? The breakout is going to be here, because this is the last support low that was created before the breakout. So this is place that will act as a breakout. Immediately the market breaks out of here, that means we are now bearish. So let's see. There was no breakout yet. Then finally there was a breakout. Now, when the breakouts that are very strong, if daily reject daily today and there's a breakout today, that storyline, that breakout is really strong. Or if weekly reject weekly today and this week and this same week did the breakout, is very strong. Now, if we have daily reject daily today, but there was no breakout today, and there's a breakout tomorrow, it's still strong, but not as strong as the one that happened on the same day. If we have a weekly reject weekly this week, but there was no breakout this week, there was a breakout next week, it's still strong, but it's not as strong as one that would have been weekly reject weekly, and that same week did a breakout. So I'll go to weekly. Let's check this out also on weekly. Remember, the one we just finished now is daily reject daily for our breakout. Now we are on weekly reject weekly daily breakout. Let's take the chart right to the beginning. I'll do this again. Now we are on weekly. Let's look for the market is already bullish. If you look at my screen here, that's how I came about this. I always write monthly bullish, weekly bullish, daily bullish. This is how the storyline I use. So if I want to see for storyline on weekly, let's look for a storyline on weekly. This was when the market was bearish. Let's see. If you see here, we had a resistance here. and weekly rejected, no matter how small the rejection is, as long as there's a rejection. You see, all this rejection, the week rejects, but the body of the candle does not close above the key level that is causing the rejection. It must only be the week. So this is a rejection here. And let's see if there was a breakout on daily. Let's remove some part of the chart. Now, if I want to look at this, I go to daily, weekly reject weekly, and daily breakout. This was the weekly here that rejected. And the breakout we are going to look out for, this is where the, okay, let's just extend this a little and see. Yeah, this was where the rejection happened. That rejection we're looking for. Look at where it happened. And where was the breakout? This was the breakout here. This one was already formed before the market even went to that place to break out. So this one was from here. The market broke out, came here daily, weekly went back, swept. That was a new week, came back, broke here. This was the break, and we start looking for shorting. Now, going back to the next week, let's go to the week and look for another storyline. Now, we see we have a storyline here. Let's see if the storyline was confirmed. We had, not every time the market rejects that is going to form a storyline. Sometimes it does rejection, but there's no storyline. You're going to know why later. But for now, we had this rejection on this week. It was a weekly rejection. Let's see if there was a breakout on that storyline. Yeah, here was supposed to be this was the rejection. Here on daily was supposed to be the breakout that will make the market to be bearish, but the market went up. See, not every time the market does a rejection that will lead to a bullish storyline or bearish storyline. That's why we always need to wait for breakouts before we can confirm a storyline. Let's check another one. Let's check another one. The final one. Now, this market is bearish. Look at this. There is what? There is a rejection here. Rejection here. Look at the rejection candle. This candle rejected. Then look at, let's see, it was the breakout after the rejection. Weekly reject weekly. Remember, the key level that is rejected doesn't really matter. Any key level at all. Weekly reject weekly here. And we go to daily to check if there is a story line that I said. So after the weekly reject weekly, there is a resistance here that will need to confirm the breakout. Until that stuff is broken, there is no storyline. We broke it, then the storyline was set. We start looking for buys. Now, before we close the class for today, we're going to talk about fresh and unfresh. Now, what's the meaning of fresh and unfresh? For those coming from other concept of trading like SMC, you use the word mitigated and unmitigated. Now, fresh and unfresh means when a level is still valid. I'll write it down. Let's say fresh. Fresh means unmitigated. Unfresh means mitigated. And you know what mitigated and unmitigated means already. You guys did SMC, so you know what that means already. Fresh, mitigated means that the level has been used already. Unmitigated means the level is still valid to use. Now, how do we, but we're not going to use the term mitigated or non-mitigated. We use the terms that correspond with what we are trading. We're trading Malaysian Msnr, and the terms of Malaysian Msnr is fresh and unfresh. So fresh means that the level is good for us to use. Most times, storyline, the valid storyline needs to start from a fresh level. If I look at this level here, I want to use here as my storyline. If I look at this key level, I'll see that this key level is still fresh. Why is it fresh? Because no week has come below it. No week has come below this key level. The key level is still fresh. Understand? It's still fresh. Now, if I want to look at this resistance, if I look at this resistance here, this one that was here, when it was here, when this week did not come here, the market was still fresh. Okay, we need to take back the replay so understand. Now at this point, this area is still fresh because no week has touched it. Remember, for a key level to be on fresh, only a week of a candle, or a shadow of the candle can make a key level to be unfresh. The body breaking above or below does not make it unfresh. It still remains fresh. So now this level is fresh. Then we had this week. Now this level is unfresh. Is no more valid to use again for now. It can still become on fresh again, but for now is on fresh because we have a week that went through it and fell, so it's on fresh. Let's look for another fresh and unfresh level. We have this one. We have this support. This support here, when it was broken here, when the market broke it at this point, it was fresh. This support was fresh. When it broke here, this QM is a QM, it was fresh. It was fresh, still fresh. Now, when a new candle came and tapped it and left, it became unfresh because there's this week, a week of a candle has mitigated it, so it's no more fresh. This area here is still fresh because no week has touched it yet. You see, so it's still fresh. Let's look for another fresh and unfresh level. Now, I'm going to show you how how unfresh level can become fresh again. Now, watch, follow me carefully. Follow me. I'm going to remove some of the chat. This was the reason why I did this subscription, so we can enjoy the learning together. Not you enjoying with learning with the market you're already seeing. Now, this area is fresh. This resistance is fresh. We had a candle come here, wicked above it. It became unfresh. It's no more fresh again. We cannot use this area as resistance again because it has been mitigated and is no more fresh. You see, it has been unfresh. You see, it was fresh before when it was the last man standing. It was fresh. We had a candle came, a week through it, it became unfresh, no more fresh again. Remember, this is a resistance. We can only use it as resistance. As it's wicked it here, no more fresh. We had another candle again, broke through it. Immediately another candle broke through it, it became fresh again. You see, at first it was unfresh because this one wicked through it. But immediately a candle breaks through it, it becomes fresh again. So this thing became fresh again to use, and we are going to use it as what? As RBS when the market comes back down. Then we saw a candle came, it was still fresh, came, use it. As long as the candle touched it now, it's no more fresh again. This is unfresh. It's no more valid to pick a trade. It's unfresh. The only time it will become fresh again if another candle opens and closes below it, immediately close below it, it has become fresh again. We can now use it what again as a resistance. You see that? So when a candle closes above or below a key level, it makes it fresh again. When a candle, remember, when a candle body closes above or below a key level, it makes the key level fresh again. So that is it on fresh and unfresh. Let me put more examples so you get it. I'm looking for. Now look at this one. Let's use here. Let's use here. We have this OCL, which is fresh, which is still fresh. You see that it's very fresh. Now, if I have a candle come here, wick through it, this candle is no more fresh to use. It cannot be fresh again to use. But if we now have, you see, it's no more fresh. But if you have another candle, do something like this. Come back, close below it. That means this candle is now fresh to use again. The key level is fresh to use again. You see? Now, the same thing here. The same thing with this one. Let's see, was it fresh? Yeah, this one was still fresh. This one didn't touch it. That's why this candle later came back and touched it here. Even after the other time, it still remained fresh. So that's it about fresh and unfresh level. Fresh and unfresh level. Look at this one. This one never became unfresh. Look at this one here. Let's see this one. This is an OCL. This is an OCL here. Very fresh. You see? Very fresh. The candle came, went below it. It's not unfresh. It's still fresh because it was not a wick. It was body closed. It's still fresh. The next candle went above it. It's still fresh. It has never become unfresh before. It has always been fresh because this one came close below. It did not wick. It closed below. It's fresh. This one came claim above. Still fresh. That level is still fresh. Valid to be used as rejection. Valid to be used as what? As a rejection. We have another one that came now, that week through it. That means this is no more fresh again. This is no more fresh. The only thing that can make this level to be fresh again if the candle, another candle opens like this and comes below it. That means it becomes what? Fresh again. You see? So, but for now, it's no more fresh because there has been a week. So we only count a breakout valid, or we only count storyline valid when they come from fresh levels. Your rejection, I mean to say, your rejection should always come from fresh level. Only on some cases where we can get rejection from on fresh level, you're going to learn that. But for now, your rejection should come from fresh level. Now, the only time you use on fresh level is this. If I have weekly, my weekly is okay. Let's delete that. Let's go to a lower time frame. If I have my weekly, and my weekly is, I'll do like this. My weekly is, I'll say bullish. My weekly is bullish. Then my daily is bearish. And it got to a certain point. Then I had a rejection on daily. And that rejection on daily is coming from a fresh level. I'll still wait. Then there's now a breakout after the rejection from an unfresh level. And that breakout makes daily to correspond again to match up with weekly becoming bullish. That means making daily to be bullish. That means that storyline is valid because despite it came from an unfresh level, but since the storyline has now matched up with my weekly again, that means that area is considered my valid storyline. You understand? So if the unfresh rejection and breakout makes your storyline, your daily storyline to correspond with your weekly, then you can take that unfresh level storyline, very good, and you can use it. You are getting the point. So, I'm drawing. So, and let's just see another one, fresh and unfresh, very simple. That's why I took my time to explain it. I even went on removing some charts so you see how they work. Now, see this one. We had weekly, we had a rejection. We had a rejection here. Now you see that this one rejected, this skill level rejected from here, rejected this one, rejected here, rejected here. But what did I do? I used the one that is the lowest, which is this one. Always try to use one that is the lowest. So after rejection, the market, there was a breakout, continue. Coming back again, we almost had another rejection, but already, if you see, we had a rejection here. Now, this place might look like an unfresh level because it has been used as rejection before. I cannot come and mark here, say I'm using it as my rejection all the way down to this place. No, because this area is unfresh, because this one already mitigated all this one. I cannot come and mark here and say I'm using here, okay, this place as my rejection, or I say I'm using here as my rejection. No, because this skill level are no more fresh. You see this, they've been mitigated, they are no more fresh. But why is it that the market rejected here and still continue to use this one again? Now we are not using this one, we are trying to use this one here. Why is it that the market used it here and also came back and used it again? Because the simple answer is this. If a market, if this area is unfresh, listen very carefully. If the key level that did the rejection becomes unfresh, but did not lead to a breakout, that area can be used again as rejection. Now, what I mean is this, we have a key level here, and we have a first candle came here, rejected. After the rejection, this did not lead to a breakout. There was no breakout on lower time frame. There was no breakout like this on the lower time frame. And we had another rejection again. We have another rejection from another candle. This key level will still be valid because there's no rejection. But as long as there's now another, there's a rejection that leads to a breakout, that means this key level is no more valid. As long as the rejection does not lead to a breakout, that key level is still very valid to be used as rejection. Hope you get me. As long as that rejection does not lead to a breakout, that key level can be used multiple times as rejection until it leads to a breakout. Immediately leads to a breakout, it's no more valid to be used as a rejection. So that is all we had to learn today. We learned how we storyline starts. We learn fresh and unfresh level. And he learned that we can get our rejection from any key level at all. You get. So that's everything we need to learn in this class today. Is this go on daily and weekly. Mark two storyline, one bullish storyline on daily, one bullish storyline on weekly, one bullish storyline on daily, one bearish storyline on weekly. After that, mark, and all of them should come from fresh level. And after that, mark two fresh levels on daily, two fresh levels on weekly, two unfresh levels on weekly, and two unfresh levels on weekly. That's the assignment for today's class.